I wish I could actually, speaking of AI, like edit out some of those beard photos in there. I realized that was pretty gnarly. I'm just watching the intro video, be like, next season's gonna be not that.
Yes.
But yeah, AI is like the we're just talking about like the Christmas thing. Welcome to episode 147. Stephen and Patrick 2.0, the update we didn't know we needed so badly. They were just chatting. We were like, hey, so I think we got to hop back on and do another episode here. So welcome today, folks. And we're just chatting some AI before getting into the nitty gritty. What's cooking on Patrick's end of things. Always exciting. Always following lots of your work online. And yeah, AI is getting more refined. I was just saying how the Christmas photo that or whatever this recent thing, it was like, hey, make a nice clean cut I don't know, Christmas photo thingy and how real it really looks, and could save me time from going to go get like a new headshot for all my profiles that I was kind of debating about. But you can't get away from the real thing. Ultimately is what we're kind of saying though too, in terms of podcasting, sharing your real story. Maybe it could pull clips, whatever in the well down the road, but kind of cool, but still puts a lot of high value on the real deal. Right.
Totally.
So yeah.
It was a little creepy though, because like, we just quickly search what is it, GPT or Google, and then you can find like a full AI breakdown of like what you've been up to.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned the author thing, because literally
Right.
just last night I was on a plane and I was like writing the next book, and I totally just reviewed all the other books. I'm like, oh right, like I can write, like I still enjoy this, but it's like it's so like integrated in what I do, where I'm just like writing content, writing like lessons for like teaching school or whatnot, that I almost forget that it's like, oh right, like there was a time where I would just sit there and like blank stare at a paper.
Yeah. Well, how'd you get into? Well, I know that you used to teach and stuff like that, and I guess you still are. But to some degree, there's how'd you get into writing though? Specifically, has that always been something you like doing?
I've kind of always wrote. I started with journaling. Like
Mm.
I remember as early as like grade 8, I would just journal days, and then whichever like hobby or thing I got into, like with dance, there was a time where I would just like write down all my dance moves and like
Yeah.
remember it, like competitions.
Right.
When I got into teaching, it's like writing down for like, okay, what's my lesson? Studying philosophy, obviously, was just like study which philosopher, whatever book I'm reading, write
Oh,
notes on it, and then like turn into like little clips. And that's how I was eventually got into like YouTube and the content stuff, because I'm like, oh, like I could write. It's gonna take maybe 30 minutes to an hour, or I could just talk about it and then write after. And then that's where I'm like, that's why I started going to like more
oh,
freestyling my
cool.
content and stuff. Yeah.
Huh. That's smart. I think that that's a neat idea in theory for me as well. I've considered that, but then it's like not that great of a writer, but maybe there's a creative way to help with technology, get the thoughts out of the coconut and onto the page. Just like a little dyslexic, like I'm all over the place and my attention span's terrible. So I think it would take me years to get to that point. But
You'd be surprised though, like even just a brain dump. Like I coach a couple
yeah,
people with like ADHD and stuff. Like even end
mm,
of the day, brain dump, you get it all out of your head. No,
yeah,
like you don't need to organize anything. Just whatever thoughts onto paper. Gives
right.
people a little bit of that.
My whiteboard,
Exactly.
whiteboard
Whiteboard
and
ideas.
post-it notes over here. Yeah, this is the dream. We have different colors for different things. And actually something I can check off on there. So yeah, but definitely is a real thing. Well, that's cool. So and what are you coaching people on now? What's going on there? Still in real
Still
estate
the
and stuff?
real estate. Yeah, that's like the main kind of offer.
Okay.
Past few years kind of realized that it's moved a little bit closer to like identity and performance, the coaching, where some
Yeah.
people, they know they want to become that real estate investor. It's like, okay, awesome, let's get you there. Other people, they see it more as like a long-term thing. A lot of like the early 20-year-olds that I'll coach, like they just want to like not be broke, which is oddly enough like the title of my first book, How to Never Be Broke Again, which is like, take someone with very little knowledge of finance, financial
Mhm.
literacy. They're kind of in like a chaotic mode of
Yeah.
their money, where they want to go, and then at least give them like 10 principles to get some clarity on just
Mhm.
like just avoid being broke. Like once you're out of that like survival mode, then we
Yeah.
can start looking at, okay, how do we get you to becoming more abundant? Maybe they want to get a career, start like hobbies like a podcast, become a content creator, monetize online or physical business. And
Yeah.
then once they start seeing like, oh, I can do this, I can actually transform in other areas of my life, then they kind of start looking at, okay, maybe now's the time to make that jump to real estate. So I've almost made like
Cool.
different transformational, I guess, programs to get them
Mhm.
to that next step.
Awesome.
People still always like look at me as like the real estate guy.
Yeah, no, I can see that transition. That makes sense. I mean, um, what do you like? I totally understand what you're saying there about like shifting out of like survival mode. What do you see the common like tipping point for that?
A big one is like people being stuck in like chaos and not having that clarity
Yeah.
of waking up right in the morning, feeling like they're like anxious, they're scattered, they don't
Yeah.
really have that consistency. Um, and then making that shift towards Kate. Whether there's pressure, no pressure, they got structure, they got clarity in their life, they're able to
Mhm.
know exactly who they are and who they're becoming. And then we attach the discipline around that. So it's not just like discipline of like, okay, you're gonna work out because that's what a disciplined person does. No, it's like, no, what is the future version of Steven? What's discipline to him that's
Yeah.
gonna get present day Steven to where he becomes that like next version.
Yeah.
And I find it's like, yeah, once they get that order, then it just makes a world of a difference. Because then just waking up the next day and
Yeah.
knowing what to do, starts getting those little wins, and then it just builds that momentum. Because yeah, like I've had that in my life where like things are chaotic. There's like changes going on. You don't know what's like happening the next day, and
Yeah.
it's the times where I had even like a simple checklist of like, this is what I'm doing in the morning. Cool, get a
100%.
simple win, and then you get that momentum as it goes.
I'm just laughing at you saying that because, like, you follow me. My win is definitely going to the gym first thing. So, and
Right.
I'm pretty regimented on that. I'm just laughing, be like, oh no, that's totally where my brain goes. Like, that's a necessary that needs to happen.
Yeah.
I'm just a
It's
better,
like a non-negotiable for you, right?
oh,
It's like
100%.
vision cast even in the future. Like he's
Yeah,
proud
yeah,
of you for going to the gym every day, like right now.
yeah. I love that. Well, yeah, yeah, I like that. I mean, yeah, whether it be going to gym, and some people like love working out at night. That's like totally their thing.
Mhm.
Some people are not morning people like me. Like I joke about it, but even this morning, like when I couldn't fall asleep great last night or whatever, and then I get up my regular time. I'm just like my own little alarm clock, but I was trying to sleep in, and it didn't work. But I delayed a little bit. I was really trying to attempt to like relax before I went and did my routine and just kind of change up that a little bit. But yeah, that's definitely non-negotiable for me. I got to go and like burn some energy and do that, and then that seems like a good win. But there definitely could be other ones, within the day, or even, I mean, I relate this a lot to like other sales roles I've done in the past, and one a contract I'm doing right now where, it's so much easier to sell when you have one under your belt in terms of like a win, positive mindset on that side of things. I'm sure you
Yeah.
covered like more in detail what that feels like and stuff. But if you can go in with that of, hey, like I've already had a win in something else, so now this is going to translate to my energy coming into this next conversation. Awesome. Like that's like sweet. Um,
Mhm.
so I don't know. Yeah, we could relate that to other parts of life too. But there's always, if you can come in with that positivity, I'm sure maybe I'll ask you, or how do you translate that for your folks? Is it checklist, or is it a little bit of a pattern thing too that you get them to walk through?
Mhm. Yeah, big one. And I like that. It's like setting up the win before you got to do anything else. It's like personal to you. And yeah, I think you're
Yeah.
right. Like with some of my clients, like, yeah, it could be a workout in the morning. For others, it's like analyzing that real estate deal before they go to work.
Right.
For me, way back before I even like published the first book, it was like write 500 words and then go do your thing. And that's when I kind of realized
Yeah.
it's like you want to connect that discipline task
Hmm.
and like your non-negotiable with like that identity that you're building.
Yeah.
Um, like even with me, like when I was becoming a real estate investor, didn't close that first deal before work. That's what I would do. Like
Yeah.
analyze those deals, market those deals. What's that one task? Um, and then because you know it's a non-negotiable for you, not
Yeah.
just because like, oh, like Coach Pat told you to do that. Well, it's like, no, you like we work it together. It's like what is actually gonna help you out? Then yeah, it builds that like positive mindset that when you make that like little deposit, I'm like, yeah, I am becoming that better version of myself and whatever that aspect you're trying to work on.
Yeah. No, that's huge. It's so funny. I'm just kind of like laughing at this because we ended up talking about this on the episode before this, but in
Mhm.
like a different way about like reading. And it was interesting how
Right.
Nick, the guy who was on before, was talking about reading like 5 pages a day. And then you're saying, hey, write like 500 words a day and just like get that routine out of there and like force that to happen. What's
Mhm.
the is there a recent like success that you could share in terms of like someone's routine and like them, you're seeing them like really
Um,
dial in?
yeah. One that was pretty proud was one of my clients, Trevor. Um, Pretty busy guy, like
Yeah.
works as like a travel nurse. Him and his girlfriend do that. So like they're in and out of the city.
Yeah.
Sometimes they're working like 50 to 80 hours a week with these contracts. So then for him, it was really like a balance of time management because then they wanted to close their first deal, not even in a year. Because most of my clients, like they'll work with me for a whole year. He
Yeah.
did the accelerated like flow state program. So it's like 90 days, close their first deal in 90 days with no like real estate experience.
Cool.
Um, so then, yeah, it was interesting seeing him do it where the moment he had free time was doing real estate or even just focusing on himself. So like some mornings it was like I'd see him in the gym in the morning. Other times he'll wake up before me and then there'll be like a post on like what's his current journey at for the real estate investing. Um,
Yeah.
and then the whole goal was just to get him into that mindset of like, hey, yeah, real estate is part of your life.
Yeah.
This is not just like a 90-day program and then you're going to leave after. It's like, no, like we want to actually build you that brand where it's like people know you as, hey, yeah, you're a traveling nurse, but also you're a real estate investor. And I think it was like day 87, like it was pretty close, that he actually
Yeah.
closed that first deal with his girlfriend there, um,
Cool.
and it showed like they were consistent. They found time, and at first I was like, oh man, like these people are busy. Like I've helped busy people out, like entrepreneurs always busy, right? People with
Yeah.
careers, but like I just track, like I always do a breakdown of okay, what does their like week look like? 'Cause a lot of this is just time management, right? How you spend your time is how you actually become that person. So
100%.
then I'm looking at
Yeah.
it, it's like you don't have that much free time. Um, but I knew that he was a grinder, so he wasn't like a person that was just busy and then wouldn't actually like commit. So
Yeah.
I had some belief in there as well, but I was like, oh, this is going to be pretty tight. But yeah, he proved me wrong. I guess I was like, oh yeah, you can still do it. Like even if you're working crazy hours, like you can still close like a real estate deal. Just depends how you organize that time and like prioritize all that.
Yeah, I think organization is definitely like the one of the bigger things in that side of things.
Mm.
Like people do often ask. I don't know. I think I did an episode on this topic actually. I gotta I have to go back and check, but I'm pretty sure I spoke on camera about this, about just like how important my calendar is for my life. Like once it's
Mhm.
in there, that's the thing that's happening for me. Google Calendar, shout out, let's go.
Yeah,
But like
yeah,
whatever calendar system you have in terms of staying like organized and stuff. But and then like a lot of stuff is like stacked for me, like overlap. Like if I am in the gym, then it's like, hey, am I taking a break to get meditative, so to say, in like a trance of like music, which doesn't have to be peaceful necessarily. Sometimes it's like
right.
heavy rock or rap, or
Yeah,
it is house music or something. Like sometimes it's country, it's all over the map. But then other times I'll take time to digest information like from a podcast or yeah, whatever, like I guess podcast or book, audio in the audio format. And yeah, you can get really efficient with time, hopefully,
mm,
is ultimately
yeah,
like my thing. But like you're saying that too, but I mean there are like a lot of hours in the day where you do have the ability to do that. Everyone says they have the same 24 hours, and they certainly do. I always think about that on the fitness side because I'm always trying to inspire people to. I mean, I don't care to be out there and be like preaching it too heavy, but it's important to me, and I
yeah.
think it should be important to everyone. I know you're a person that takes care of yourself too. Physically active guy,
Mm,
and yeah, it's just I don't know, sharing that for me even on my story. I think that's what you're saying about this other guy too. It's more about me almost like checking off my own box, being like, okay, I did that today. It sounds crazy, and then the other inspire or like encouraging thing, pardon me, is like someone will comment back and be like, oh, that was really inspiring. I went and worked out today because I
right.
saw you post that you did, and maybe that happens for someone else on like the real estate side, or they're sharing their story, and then you have this trickle effect of a positive outcome on the network that you are part of, which is
Mhm,
cool.
totally. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy too because like sometimes like I'll take it for granted. I'm sure it happens to you where you're just like, oh yeah, I'm just going to work out. You might not feel like it, and then
Yeah.
you realize like, oh, yeah, people actually watch. You're like,
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah. Between posting on like, well, Strava for those that are on there, or if I do
Mm,
post on like Instagram, I had an interesting moment. Now I feel like this is an episode where you're asking me questions kind of that I'm sharing, but
yeah.
there was at this Christmas thing last night. And we were talking about like and a lot of the people there were in like run clubs. That's how I met the
Okay.
person whose Christmas party and birthday party was. And um, shoot, now I'm forgetting their name. Sorry, nice human lady that I met last night. We were talking about like doing like Ironmans, and she's just getting into doing like a 10K race or maybe like a
Okay.
half marathon, and she's just starting on like a fitness journey. It was not very like active earlier on in her life and stuff like that. Like not very like athletic background, like not a lot of sports, I guess, growing up. It's really cool, but it's neat to see her like talking about like getting into that. I was like, oh yeah, soon you'll probably like do like, you know, like a full, or maybe you'll get into tries because you're hanging out, you know, in this environment or whatever. And she's like, oh, I heard like you did like a Ironman. And for anyone who does Ironmans, I did like the half. And someone gets specific on me or whatever. I did it out in Calgary because like if I say it to the general public, everyone's just like, oh, cool, Ironman's a long race. They have no idea of like there's the full and then there's the half. I mean, I just say Ironman or whatever. And I was like, and I had to like, I started critiquing myself there. And I was like, oh, there's only the half. And she was just like, the half. She's like, that's a long race. You know, she's like, that's unreal. Like, this is like legendary. And I was just like, yeah, I guess so. But I was like, I'm like already thinking like, oh, I want to do a full, and finding happiness maybe is in the part that you're like accomplished is sometimes tough, right? To see that win. Because for me, I was just kind of like, oh, I don't know. Like, it's like, yeah, I did it. It was hard, but like, I don't know. Now I'm kind of looking at the next goal. But for someone else, it's just starting the journey. It looks like it's so far away. But that routine, I've been doing this like routine of training for like 7 years, roughly 7 or 8 years, whatever. I don't know. Started off, yeah, pretty close to. So for me, it's, I don't know, it seems like less of a big deal, but that started with like one day back in 2018 or something like that for me. So I guess that's 8 years ago going on. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah. Anyway, to your point though about routine and just getting started, and then you look back and you're like, oh, that's like you solve, you know, whatever problem someone has in terms of like getting into real estate investing in like 2 seconds because you got your experience. How many years have you been doing this now, by the way? I guess on that flip side.
First deal was 2017.
Okay, cool.
2017, yeah. So almost, what is that, 8?
Well, that's what I was just trying to figure out. That was like the same. Okay, so it's like 8 years roughly. But at the same time, because I popped up my shoulder, and then I got into swimming, and I remember buying like a fat. So the same year though, that was like, I remember 2017 was the year where I got bought out through a merger. My shoulder popped out, and I think then I was like single. It was like a very depressive fall. There was recently single. Yeah, I had my shoulder out, and then
it's like interesting how that is. Merger.
Yeah, it's 3 and 3s.
Time. Yeah, and then you go into like, you didn't really swim or do the Ironmans before hurting your shoulder.
No, wait. So I used to swim like a lot when I was like younger, like a kid, like took like swimming levels and stuff. I had like could have been like a lifeguard, I guess, whatever level that is, Red Cross or stuff. And so like I never executed on that. I ended up getting other jobs, and like I kind of wish I would have, but it was like a neat thing, but never did it. And so I had done it prior, and then I was really big into like mountain biking for training for hockey. I used to like I would like to go push weights, but for cardio, I did like running. It's kind of funny because I do a lot of it, but then I was into mountain biking, and then for my recovery from lifting like a lot of weights, and I just didn't stretch enough, and I was playing co-ed ringette, which is such a crazy story of silliness. But anyways, I fell back, and my shoulder like just like tore out, my pec rip, my neck, like it was just like a gnarly thing that I didn't realize was even an issue right away. Anyways, for recovery though, so like fast forward like 3 months after they kind of settles in, and they're like, you know, swimming would be really good to have your pec like fill in or whatever. It's a soft, like the way that like you do like breaststroke basically would be like really helpful. And I was like, okay, cool. So I go there, and it's like everyone else is front crawling at Pan Am. And anyways, this is a really effective way to like grow back like muscle, soft tissue, and it's helped a ton with the shoulder in general initially there. But then I was just thinking that I find swimming very therapeutic. First thing in the morning, it's like I guess you can have headphones in now, but didn't then, and it's like just very calm. And I was just like, I used to swim a lot. I biked a lot. I then for a bit did get into running like specifically. And then it was like, oh, I should do a triathlon. I know there's memes out there that are like, oh, you turn 30, you go to the triathlons or like smoking weed, right? It's like just absolutely roasting people. But I think it's funny. But I was like 27, 28 when I got into it. And I was like, you know, it just seemed like a natural thing to do. I was just like, oh, I do all 3 of these sports. I should try one. That's how it starts, right? It's just like, I should try one of these things, right? And then it's like, no, now I don't know, at least a few a year. So probably done like 30 or 40 of these things now, I'm guessing. I don't know. This year was like 4 or so. And then I did like 5 halves, like just the run part. But like then
you just did 5 halves.
I know. And I was talking about this last night. I did like 5 halves, but I had it all planned out. And it was like, I just treated them like a big training day. I was like, oh, this is for a bigger race that I have. They're like, oh my God, everyone's like nervous. I'm just like, oh, this is just like a practice run. In a way, I mean, you get a medal at the end, and then you want to get better, right? It's just like an addictive thing. Just that you want to get better at, you know, training people, and then they want to get better at in real estate investing through their journey and whatever else you're coaching them on. But and you like, so now it's not as specific to real estate, or it still is primarily real estate for you? By the way, too?
The main clients is still specific to real estate investing. I've kind of just broken it down into like steps because now that more people kind of ask about it. Like, not that it's a bad thing, but not everyone's ready to like buy that first deal. And that's fine, right? Like if I had just bought my first deal the moment I thought it was like a good idea, I probably wouldn't be here. Like there's like things you still got to learn beforehand. Like you got to learn how to manage your finances, get clarity on like, okay, let's just not be broke ever again. And you got to learn some skills around like marketing, communication, sales, and then just how does a deal even work? And once you have some success there, it's like, hey, put it all together. Then you actually can close the first deal. And then now that I'll coach people that have already done real estate and they're scaling that, well, then there's like other skills like, okay, are you going to scale that through becoming, let's say, a big one before was like becoming an author. That's actually why I started writing, was because I was like selling, like I got licensed in financial industry when I was like 19, 18 or something. And like the whole idea of authority, I think it's Robert Greene, like the author of Mastery and 48 Laws of Power, talks about how authority is just being an author. And in my head, I was like, I'm this young guy. None of my friends want life insurance or even care about investing. I'm like the only one. So like, why would someone who is way older than me actually get like insurance or investment, like education or advice from me at the time, or products? So it's like, oh, I got to be an author. Like if I could make a book, it doesn't have to be anything crazy, just like that one book that sets me apart from everyone else, then you can start building that brand. And I was like, hey, well, what was a pain that I had that I could actually share and then find a solution to it? Well, it's like, well, I used to be like super broke. Like, I remember struggling with money. I remember like wanting to go to the movies with my friends and not having that cash, working at McDonald's for like a whole year, realizing, oh, I made 16 grand. Look at my bank account. I had like $70. I'm like, where did that money go? And it's just because I wasn't educated. Oddly enough, like my mom was an accountant for a long time. So then like, that's how I started learning a little bit more about like, hey, like manage your income, manage your expenses. I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, the whole story of everyone that gets into like money and whatnot. And I was like, hey, well, what's the problem I could solve? Like it shows someone how to never be broke again. And I just figured it out as like, what are 10 principles someone could use to never ever be broke again? You can actually find this for free online. If you go on Spotify and you search how to never be broke again, I actually put out the ebook like for free. And then if people want, like, I can send them like a PDF. They want the like free version. And that was like that stepping stone. Cause then I was like, okay, well, if someone could just not be broke, then they can start having that like mental space and like actually start believing that they can actually invest. Cause even now, like I'll run into people in like their 30s or later 20s, and they don't see investing as like even possible. And it doesn't even enter like their thought patterns. Versus when I was like younger, I knew it was necessary, right? Like if I've always wanted to start a family. Like now I got engaged, got married. Actually, I'm getting married in the Philippines for like the destination wedding. So I'm here in Alberta right now. But like those are all things that I wanted. I knew that money was necessary. I was like, okay, well, first level is like not be broke. Second level is make enough that you can actually start doing the things that you want. Because money's a tool, right? Like I'm sure it costs money to do a Ironman, right? Like you got a sign up fee. Even for like I still breakdance. I got into DJing like about a year ago now. That still costs some form of money. So like I'm a full believer that if you actually want to become the person that you envision, there's a cost to that. Not just money. Like you can talk about, there's a cost to energy, there's a cost to like your time, there's a cost to like momentum you'll have to build up, and then you'll go through some sort of pain as you go through that, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, right? It's like, okay, if I want to get fit, I got to go through a level of pain in the gym to reach my goals. And once you put that all together, well, it's like, okay, well, then you can actually start breaking down the life that you actually want. That's why I always like looked at it as the real estate, the money stuff, like it's cool. And it's like, I've been lucky and fortunate enough that people actually trust me to be like their coach or mentor around this stuff. But I always connected to, it's like, it's a vehicle for self-development. Like it's the thing that you're going to do to get you to become like that next version of yourself. Because like things can change, right? Like, do I want to be flipping homes the rest of my life? Not necessarily, but is there a period of time where like flipping was awesome? Flipping is awesome. I want to do that and then get those skills. It's like, sure. And And it's like, what's that like path that's going to get someone to like the end goal? And I find that the big thing about helping out people with is like getting past chaos to like some clarity. Because it doesn't have to be like you know exactly what you need to do to get to like step D or E or F. It's like, okay, what's that one thing you got to get like A to B, and then trust that life will kind of get you there as long as you're intentional with it. Because
Hmm.
being stuck in chaos sucks. Like,
Yeah.
but once you have clarity, it's like makes it like even if life throws some craziness at you, if you have clarity, like you can get through a lot. And I find that the self-development piece is where as long as you're consistent, you know where you're going towards, you actually have some discipline and you know like what's the identity you're trying to build, like you'll get there. And it keeps you like grounded, versus like you're just trying to freestyle your way through things. Because I kind of going back to like the AI and like the internet age we live in, like we're lucky enough that we can connect like this just online.
Yeah,
Like
we are.
it's not impossible if you want to. I had a student the other day, like actually in grade 7, and then she wants to join the WNBA. And I was like, it's not impossible for you to contact someone like online who's currently in the WNBA, maybe like even in the top 10 players, and like get
Yeah.
on a Zoom call with them. Maybe you have to pay, but it's probably not going to cost more than like a few $100, if that, depending on like famous or like how sophisticated their like big funnel is if they're doing that. But like we have that chance now, and it's like,
Yeah.
what a privilege, right? Like you just connect with these people, and they give you like the cheat codes, a framework, just that one piece of info that will get you like an advantage.
And I feel like you're totally right on that. Part of my thought on that is sometimes it's hard to even figure out the question to ask, and going into that, because you're right. And like if that is a person's goal, they should inquire with someone who's been there or doing that would be a great strategy. But sometimes it's hard to figure out what question is to be asked, right? Like even if we have all the tech and stuff, it's like, hey, where do I even start? Which is exactly where stuff like your coaching comes into play, because people are like, hey, maybe I've seen this years ago on HGTV, whatever, and they glamorize it, but like realistically, like, hey, like what are the numbers and cents here to like make this happen? And then like how much time, energy, and effort does this really require ultimately to do that? Because there's a huge gap there, I think, for sure. And that's why it's needed and stuff like that. Now you're doing with people.
It's like, yeah, people don't know what
Yeah.
they don't know, and that's never going to change, right? Like I'm not going to like try to sell you a dream, like, oh, like join the program, and all of a sudden you'll know exactly what you don't know that you don't know. But we can reveal like different steps, right? Like that's the beauty of working with people who are a little bit more ahead and like kind of gone through a certain path. Because like even now, like I'll totally get mentors and coaches on like anything. I had like a real estate coach, of course. I had like my own like a conversation and like a speaking coach recently. I had someone coach me on just like how to use social media to actually monetize and help people. I've had a dating coach, right? It's like, okay, I want a wife. Like I should probably figure that out. That dating coach helps me with like the marriage stuff now. And it's like, why waste time if I've seen someone have results? I vibe with them. I find that's a big one with like like any education space. Like you might not vibe with me. I might be able to help you, but you might not vibe with me. That's fine. Like find someone else. Like there's a bunch of other like coaches or people you can learn from. But if you find someone that like has info, has experience, you can vibe with, and we actually like build a level of trust. It's like they're there to like actually help you. You can read a book. You're like, it's just a better version of a book. I find just you're actually with that person. And to get a little woo woo, I guess. I'm a full
let's
believer.
do it. Yes,
I'm a full believer in like energetic teaching. Like that's how I kind of learned. Like DJing will be an example where I just like connected with one of the DJs I thought was like really good in the city. I like the music that they played. Name's Bunyo. They're in WL Productions, who I've been graciously invited into as like a crew. And the things that you learn just sitting with a person, and then they could be explaining to you, and you'll just pick up on little like habits or things that even they might not even notice. And it's funny because I would always record myself if I'm doing like any type of like performance or like training. I want to like see my form as I learn it from dance. And I'll have like these little mannerisms, and then us in the crew will just laugh, be like, "Oh, Pat will like DJ at like Bunyo, and like how I move my hands and stuff." I'm like, "That's hilarious." It's like, because in my head, I'm like, "Oh yeah, I totally picked that up, just like being
From
physically
him.
with this person."
Yeah.
So yeah. And that's a big reason why like I was struggling when COVID happened. Everything's like online. I'm like, I like teaching online. It's easier because I don't have to leave my house. But at the same time, there's like something missing. So then I always like in all my programs, I always like add an upsell if they want. Like, let's do infield
To be in
training.
person.
It's like let's go in person and like let's look at properties together.
Right.
If you're someone that wants to like fix your finances, let's sit down together and like go through your bank stuff and like show you, hey, like I'm here to help. But like there's things that pop up that you don't get if it's just like online. It's like little
Yeah, I totally agree.
mannerisms or ideas that pop up when you're like meshing with someone physically with them.
Yeah, 1,000%. I mean, like this, even this is an example. And this is great that we can connect. We've connected outside here, so there's already a rapport there. So it's easier to do this then, because then
Totally,
it's not, like whatever. But in person would be fantastic. I've been the guest more so on the other side of podcast in person, and it's a very different experience. I mean, like it's you're in the room there and you're in person, and I mean, hopefully that does bring out a better, experience that side of things. But yeah, the energy is a big one for sure. Don't worry about the woo. I'm a big fan of the woo woo. It's like part of my brains. I always joke it's like hippie Steve, and then I got like corporate Steve over here. Like they're always like kind of clashing, like or working together. I'll say, because sometimes in business there's things that you just like trust and instinct. And you're like, hey, like I gotta, there's something a little off here. Maybe it's why you're not getting back to someone as quick. On like any kind of deal, we'll just say very broadly here, but sometimes that's helped out a ton, avoiding things or something that wasn't right. You didn't know why, but trust your gut. That's like, I think it's literally on a coffee mug. I had my coffee out of today. I put that on the back of a mug one year. I do these annual mugs where I kind of got out of them for a little bit, but yeah, I'd have like a little slogan and a picture of me. I'd gift them to people. I thought it was kind of funny. And but it was like 2020. I think it was like, trust your gut. It's kind of neat. So yeah,
it's a big one. It's like, and how do you even like train that? Like, I can't think of any other way other than like you do it and it like you get feedback, I guess. Because
I think like taking that time and space just to be like, maybe we're talking about this with the last episode, or maybe I'm hybriding them together now in my own brain, but just talking about like taking time for you to like really like digest if you can within a day, whether it be like a little meditative or just like your own time. I think that's one of the ways that I've learned to continue to trust like my gut and instinct is to like have that quiet. It's not always possible, right? I mean, we got busy schedules. People are like hustling, as they say. But if you could, and just kind of take time to reflect and stuff, I think sometimes, as much as it is nice to go and like make money off of like different deals, I think sometimes the biggest wins have been me saving my time and resources from not getting into maybe not so good things, because it's good maybe for the other party, but maybe not so good for you. Is the best way to put that very loosely. And maybe it's like saved me. Sometimes I've thought about that a lot. I'm like, that probably saved me, like a, whatever we'll call it, just a number for sake, like a $10,000 or $20,000 savings from not doing that thing, because it would have been a headache, or it would have, cost our team money and resources, and maybe they wouldn't have paid for the project or whatever it is, kind of deal. But I think sometimes that's just as valuable as going and getting that, whatever that thing is. So just saving yourself a little bit.
Yeah, it's cool you mentioned that, because like even with like the whole like discipline and like self-development space, it's not talked about enough to just like do not disciplined things. Like you said, like have free time for yourself to just like either think or be with yourself. I know some people call it like meditation, right? Like, you can do that, but even just time for like rest, time and just hang out. There'll be times where it's like, I just want to play video games. I'm like, that's fine, as long as you go back and use it as like a means to like recover. Because I remember being stuck in that kind of that weird space where it's like you got to always just be hustling, which I guess is necessary at times, but at the same time, it's like as you get older, like you don't want to be stuck there.
No, you want to work like on the business versus like in a kind of energy, right? You make better decisions, bigger picture stuff. So that's neat. I like this. I'm glad we were sharing. We're swapping. How about to kind of, we'll head towards kind of end of the episode here, but what's some goal? I know it's like near year end here and stuff like that. Are there things that that are kind of pegged in the calendar that you have for goals that you want to share or talk about in 26?
Yeah, 26 will be, well, I literally just left public school teaching. I
Okay.
left before, came back. I love teaching. So like being
Yeah.
away and just working like on the coaching business and the real estate, like it was awesome. But then I was like, hey, well, what do I really like to do? And it always came back to like
Yeah.
teaching. So like went back, taught 2 years, grade 7. It was probably the most fun I've had teaching,
Yeah.
because I could take things that I learned a big one was like taking things I learned from social media. This goes into the goal of like this 2026 is really when I want to take social media to like the next level. What does that mean? Is like get to at least 10K followers and then make it really clear of like, hey, Patrick Hilario, he's that Filipino guy with a beard that does real estate and self development. Because I find that that's
Sweet.
the thing that sticks.
That's awesome.
It's like, yeah, it's like the identity that sticks that I find helps me be different, I guess. Um,
Yeah.
and then put that all together and just helping more people get into like clarity on where they want to go, and move them from, once they're scattered, anxious, inconsistent. I want to show them, hey, you can actually transform your life. I did it, whether it's through content, real estate investing, fixing your money, whatever it is, the self development space. And then use kind of like the 12 plus years of business and then I guess like the 8 plus years of real estate coaching to really show them, hey, let's get you that structure, that clarity, that identity, that discipline that's honoring your future best self, and then get you having that like internal order where it's like, hey, we can actually get you to becoming like a real estate investor or just someone that can actually hit their goals. Because I find that the real transformation is getting a little more woo again, is like once you become, I call it like the alchemist of your life, where
That's cool.
you're not just going to transform once in your life. Like I
Yeah.
think people kind of understand that unless you want to just live the same life over and over again. It's not really to the person I sell to. Awesome. Like I still love you. Like there's
Yeah.
no enemy here. But like the people I
Right.
like to work with, they kind of know that they're meant for more. And
Hmm.
maybe that means become a real estate investor. Maybe it means after that you come into like philanthropy, or maybe like that real estate investing capital can get you to start like your podcast or the next business idea. So what I mean by getting people to understand that they can become the alchemist of your life is that they can be the one that decides and knows exactly how to transform themselves. And
Mm.
then if they can learn that, then one, they won't necessarily need me anymore, which I think is awesome. Like that's the greatest thing
Yeah.
of like being a teacher is like I just see someone do the thing that I taught them and able to learn it faster and even pass it on. Like that's a win
That's
for
super
me.
cool.
Um, and then yeah, create like a community around that where it's like, okay, like we're people that are committed to getting to that next level and using that and like just as a means to share our gifts. Because I truly believe like the people that I've been attracting the last few years, like they
Yeah.
all have these gifts, and it's just how to put that into the real world, which whether you like it or not is going to cost some capital. You're going to need some assets to put that into the world, which some people like love or hate or whatever. But I think it is
Yeah.
a privilege. Like you can live in a time where with enough money, like you can make anything you want come true. Um, and then kind of the creative side of that is like, hey, can you do that without even having to use your own money? Um,
Yeah.
which is like, yeah, use your strengths. Because like yourself, like you probably had deals or opportunities come just by you having a podcast. And like, sure, having a podcast
Yeah.
costs some sort of money, but it's not like you have to invest like millions of dollars into this thing. Like the more you keep doing this, the more like, oh yeah, Steven, there's a podcast, and people reach out to you and
Yeah.
stuff, right?
Legit.
Yeah,
100%. Talk
yeah.
about that a lot when we help people on the marketing, like through the marketing company help launch podcasts, but it's like we don't have to pay for a lot of marketing anymore.
Mhm.
It's mostly consistency, like anything.
Huge. Yeah.
Yeah, it's massive. It's so super funny you say that though, because you nailed it. That's exactly. We'll have to chat offline about that more for sure. But
Yeah.
there's for sure like that, and that's so cool to hear for like goals and stuff like that. I actually had a very light bet with a couple of guys at an event one night. We're having a couple of beers. We're like, hey, like who can get to 10,000 followers first? And one of the
Nice.
guys really took it to heart. He like
Nice.
ran with it. I kind of forgot about it. I was like, okay, like
Yeah.
if my followers grow a little bit, whatever. And yeah, this one guy ran with it. And he's like, hey, look, I got 10,000. Whatever. Sent us like a message like
Nice.
a few months later, and I'm like, oh damn, like that's fantastic. And he's
Yeah.
like, he is like a really high quality content creator. He does like a lot of like gym stuff, travels a ton with it. Super cool dude. But like, I think that's an awesome goal. I think that's super doable for someone like yourself who's already pretty comfy, like on camera number one, like today, but also that other stuff. So that's super awesome to hear those goals. I'm excited to continue to watch that happen.
Yeah,
And
we'll do another follow-up episode.
I was gonna say, yeah, we're gonna have to have a 3.0 in season 4 now. There's that's awesome. Let's maybe wrap it up there. I'm excited to keep following it, Pat, and glad everything seems to be rolling well, and excited for your future here. So thanks for making time to be on the pod today.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, bro.
Awesome. Okay, see you, Pat.
Like and subscribe and follow Steven on the A podcast. Don't forget.
There we go. The thing I don't even say. Right on. Cheers.